Okay, so we've all been there, right? You've got that one person on your team, a real star performer, who suddenly just starts to fade. It's this super common mystery at work, and today, we're going to try and solve it.
Our whole investigation, it really hinges on this one simple question. What if our first gut reaction, to just label them as lazy, is totally and completely wrong?
I want you to picture someone you've always been able to count on at work. Now, all of a sudden, they're missing deadlines. They're totally silent in meetings. And the work they're turning in, it's just sloppy. It's a story we've all seen play out, but the reason behind it might actually surprise you.
As we see all this evidence pile up, our first instinct is usually to jump to a really simple conclusion. A black and white judgment. You know that little voice in your head that starts up? It says things like, they've checked out, or they just don't care anymore. And look, it's an easy explanation, for sure. But is it the right one?
We pretty quickly build this whole case against them in our heads. We slap on all these labels: lazy, unmotivated, bad attitude. We just assume that they're making a conscious choice to let the whole team down.
So what we're really doing is taking this one specific behavior and turning it into like a permanent flaw in their character. We decide who they are as a person based on the tiny snapshot of their performance, and we never even stop to ask, hey, why is this happening? But what if we could just resist that impulse? What if, like a good detective, we actually paused for a second and looked for all the shades of gray in the situation?
Because think about it. Those missed deadlines, that silence in meetings, that could just be the very, very tip of the iceberg. What if there's this whole other world of context hidden just beneath the surface? And this is where this really powerful idea comes in. It's called the diagnostic pause. It's nothing complicated. It's just the simple act of stopping our rush to judgment and choosing to analyze the environment instead of just the attitude.
It's a really subtle shift, but it is so powerful. We literally move from asking this accusatory question, what's wrong with them, to a much more curious one, what's happening around them? That one little change opens up a whole universe of new possibilities.
And when we make that shift, we often find a totally different culprit at play here. It's not laziness, it's its exhausted and completely misunderstood cousin, burnout.
You see, what really looks like a conscious choice to not care is very often an unconscious state of just total and utter depletion. It's not a lack of will, it's an empty tank.
Let's get really clear on the difference here, because this is crucial. Laziness, that's a choice. It's an unwillingness to do something. But burnout, that's an inability to do something. It's a complete depletion of all your resources. The desire to contribute might still be in there somewhere, but the energy is just gone. So burnout is really a state of emotional and cognitive depletion. It's usually caused by long-term, unmanaged stress, or a system that's just totally overloaded. The key here is that it's not a character flaw. It is a direct response to the environment someone is in. And understanding this difference is everything. It's what moves us from a place of blame to a place where we can actually find solutions. Think about it. If we see laziness, we respond with frustration, with conflict. But if we see burnout, we can respond with support. One of those paths leads to more resentment, and the other leads to a real, actual solution. So here's how you can actually put this into practice. It's pretty simple. First, just notice your own judgment as it's happening. Second, apply that diagnostic pause we talked about. Third, shift your focus to diagnose the environment. And then finally, you can work to find a solution together.
By just changing our own perspective, we can break that negative, draining cycle of blame and instead create a positive, productive cycle of support.
And really, this idea goes so far beyond the workplace. The next time you're about to judge a friend or a family member or even a total stranger, just ask yourself this one question: what's the story I'm not seeing here?